What is up, guys? It is end of week 11 already, and I'm feeling freaking amazing. I lost the bulk of the weight, but I still have a little bit left to go. I just had that last bit of stubborn fat, which I think most struggle to get rid of. So that's what I'm gonna make this video about, because right now is a perfect time to talk about it, because I'm to the point with my results to where I just have that little bit left to go.
Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind, this my prime. Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind, and this my prime. Yeah, sorry for the wait, didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting on the river with an ace.
As you can see, it's about where most people kind of like plateau. So I'm excited to show you guys that anything is possible. You guys got this. And I look forward to, over the coming weeks, to seriously show you guys pretty much me getting as shredded as I used to be. And I don't know how shredded I plan to get, but I'm definitely gonna get into single digits. And just for fun, I think just to show you guys that it's possible, that I think I'm going to go is not maybe as low as 5% body fat, but I definitely am going to get a bit low to where I could potentially do a competition in a month or two. So I would say that to make that feasible, I would say I need to be around 8%, maybe 7% body fat. So I'm excited to do this with you guys and show you guys, you can do this. It's just consistency and a few of the things that I'm about to talk about right now. All right, guys, so I am really excited to actually make this video because, like I said in the beginning, I'm actually to that point to where I think most struggle. At the beginning, I think we can all agree that it's when we see most results, right? You stop eating the crap, the obvious crap, and you start seeing the weight loss at the beginning. So the beginning is, I wouldn't say easy, but it's more noticeable when it comes to the scale measurements and all that good stuff. But then you get to the point to where it plateaus, where I'm about right now, is typically, I would guess, when people, just based off the people in my team and questions that I get a lot when it comes to losing that last bit of stubborn fat, because I get a lot of questions from a lot of different people inside my team saying, hey, I'm right there, but I just had that little bit left to go. What do I need to do differently? A few of the things that I want to start off by saying is that if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So what I mean by that is, when I did my competitions, the two that I did, one in 2016 and one in 2018, potentially 2026, I'm not sure, but we'll see. But yeah, anyways, a few of the things that I discussed with a few guys back there when I was waiting to go on stage is we were talking a lot about that. I think that was a huge topic. A lot of guys were talking about backstage, just basically saying, hey man, you're really freaking shredded. I had a lot of guys come up to me and be like, yo, I mean, you are shredded. How did you get so low? And then what I learned from talking with a lot of these guys back there, because I did get compliments saying that, Jesus, you're literally the most shredded guy back here. That was a huge compliment. And I was really shredded. I got down to 3.8% body fat. It was a little bit below 4%, which was insane. I didn't even expect to get that low, honestly. But I got really low. So I had a lot of guys come up to me and ask, hey, how did you get that shredded? They're all shredded, right? All the guys back there are shredded, but I just got ridiculously shredded. I don't even think you need to get as shredded as I got. But when it comes to physique, by the way, if you guys are thinking about doing a physique competition, it is not, and this is a learning thing for me, it is not about how shredded you can get necessarily. Yes, you need to be cut, obviously, so we can see the muscles, right? It's about symmetry. So if you are doing bicep curls or chest or legs or anything, basically, when it comes to lifting, that's why it's really important to have a mirror, because when you're lifting, it's really easy to lift off kilter and not even realize it. And then over time, if you keep doing that without realizing it, one side of your body will get bigger than the other. It's unfortunate, but that's why mirrors are important, is because if you don't watch yourself in the mirror and watch your form, there's a slight chance. It may not be significant to you. You might not notice it, but when you're under the bright shining lights in front of all these judges, that's what the kind of crap they're looking for. Is they're looking for symmetry. They're looking for all the things. Roundness, who's got the best shape, who's got the best back, where do they excel? This guy's got this going on, this guy's got this going on. There's a lot of things that judges typically look at. And again, going back to what I was saying, a lot of things that I learned after talking with a lot of these guys after they were asking me like, hey man, how do you get so shredded? And basically before I explained myself, I asked them like the questions that I would ask anybody on my team. I asked, okay, so basically you lost XYZ amount of weight, right? You lost like 30 pounds and you gained maybe an inch or so in your arm or whatever, and now you're starting to get to be maybe where you want to be. Did you change anything when it came to food or nutrition or your lifting routine or anything like that? And most guys that I talked to when I was back there, yeah, they did change what they were doing. They lifted harder maybe, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not gonna say that's bad, but they lifted harder. They switched up their routine because they're like, okay, it's crunch time. I gotta get rid of just this last bit of fat. So they switched up their routine. They switched up their nutrition because, okay, now I gotta get rid of that last little bit of fat. So they switched around their eating, and then their results aren't as good as they were. That's because what you did that was working, you stopped doing. So that's where I really stress to people. I learned first, hey, what were you doing to get you where you are right now? And then obviously, if there's things we can improve on, obviously I'm not gonna not say what you could do a little bit better, but you don't wanna change what you're doing too much. And if you guys haven't seen my last video, this video really goes hand in hand with what I talked about in my previous video. So I would recommend watching that because it goes along with saying, when you're lifting and you're doing all the things, typically when you start to see results, you almost take your foot off the gas a little bit because you feel like you're there, you coast a little bit. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying, but once you start seeing success, work harder. You got to keep that mentality when it comes to results as well. And I'm not saying like work harder, oh my God, you got to push or change your routine or eat better. I'm talking about just keeping your intensity to where it needs to be. Keep everything the same. If you want to push harder with your intensity, then do that. But you don't want to take your foot off the gas when it comes to lifting, because I think that where a lot of guys fail, and this was myself included, but when I first started lifting, I did the same exact thing. I'd almost get to where I want to be, and then I would switch things up, and then I would derail my results, and I wouldn't get the results that I was getting like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or a month ago or whatever. I kept doing different things. It's just, you have to remember, when it comes to getting results, it's all about consistency of doing something over and over, right? So whatever you were doing to get to where you got, I would recommend, if you were losing weight, just keep doing what you were doing. Keep doing the weights or the same routine that you were doing, right? And then the only thing that I would maybe do different, and this is not something that I would recommend doing at the end, I'd actually recommend doing this from the very get-go like I am right now. So if you're eating good and you're eating the same and you're doing the same routine and your intensity is exactly where it needs to be and you're still not quite getting rid of that last bit of stubborn fat, my recommendation would be definitely to work on your midsection. If you think about it, when you do, say, an arm workout, how many different types of arm workouts do you think that you do in an arm workout? Say, the program that I do. It's like you do probably a half dozen, or I would say a dozen different moves when it comes to your arm. And then sometimes you do arms even twice a week. So think about how often, or compare that to like how often you do abs and how many different moves you do with abs. It ain't shit, right? If you compare it, if you compare all the different types of moves that you do and how often you work your abs compared to, say, your arms, because you got to think about, say, if it's arm day, you're working on arms just for an hour, maybe a half an hour, depending on where you're at in the program. Maybe you're doing the bulk phase and you're busting out an arm workout for 30 minutes. So how often do you think that you do that with abs? Never. So I'm not saying go work on your abs for frickin' 30 minutes and do exactly what you would do with a back workout or an arm workout, but you got to have that mentality of treating your midsection like everything else. Because another thing that I learned when I was back there talking to these really big guys, they mentioned, without me saying, when it comes to your abs, a lot of guys, they don't use weights. Why wouldn't you use weights? Use weights when you lift with curls and everything else, but when it comes to abs, why wouldn't you use weights? You should be using weights just like you would any other part of your body. So that is my last recommendation to you guys. So you have to treat your abs like everything else. Do you have to do 8, 12, and 15 reps or anything like that? No, but I would recommend, no matter what move that it is that you're doing, try to incorporate weights. And if you do incorporate weights, don't start out by going too heavy if you haven't been doing it, because you can really mess up your back and just get injured really super duper easy. So if you're starting out and you're just starting to incorporate weights, then start out very light. Just to give you guys an example, if you're doing plank, I would use maybe the lightest weight you got, honestly, and just put it on your back, have somebody do it for you, preferably. If you have somebody, if not, it is what it is. But try to do it very carefully, obviously, and smart. Don't get injured doing it, but put some weight on your moves, like plank. I put a weight on my side, I put a weight on my back when I do planks, when I'm doing side and front planks. So everything that I do, even doing beast abs, if you guys haven't done beast abs, do it, because it's an amazing ab workout. But I would recommend, you know, a lot of those moves when you're doing your leg raises, take a dumbbell and put it between your feet and then raise the dumbbell along with doing that. There's tons of moves that you can incorporate weights when doing abs. So just keep all that stuff in mind, guys, when it comes to your abs, because that is literally how I think that I really get so shredded to where you can actually start to see like muscle fibers and all that craziness in my abs, is because I'm freaking pushing when it comes to my midsection. I literally pretty much go to failure every time I work my abs, and that's how it should be. You go to failure when you're doing chest or any other muscle, correct? So you gotta have that same sort of mentality. And also when you're doing abs, squeeze. Don't just move around your legs or whatever it is to work your abs. Think about what you're working, because a lot of times when I watch guys do ab moves or whatever, it's easy for me to tell that they're not engaging their stomach, because they're moving their legs up and down, and that's great, and they're working their abs, that they're flexing, but you need to engage your abs literally pretty much the entire, no, not pretty much, but you need to engage your abs the entire time. And then one last tip I want to give you guys, when you're doing your moves, whether it be chest press, legs, or any move, engage the crap out of your core. Not to the point where you're like, oh my God, you're flexing. If I were to like watch you lift, I shouldn't be able to tell that you're flexing. Let's just say that. Like it should be almost like a relaxed flex, but you're flexing. That's pretty much it, guys. So just to give you a breakdown of everything that I just said, because I said a lot, right? If you're doing something that got you results, whether it be the program or the nutrition part of it, all of it, whatever you did to get to where you are right now, if you got results, even if it takes you a little bit longer, just trust the process, just keep doing the same things, keep going, and just do what you've been doing, because obviously it was working. And like I said, when I talked to the guys backstage, they said a lot of guys, and this was relatable, because when I told them, hey, you changed this, you should have just kept doing the same things and you would have just got more ripped. We had this big powwow back there talking about it. It was awesome. Honestly, when I did the competition, I would say that was one of the coolest like parts of it, was just hanging out the guys back there, because imagine being in a room full of 50, whatever, how many guys, 100 guys, and the type of people that commit themselves to that level to where they got those kinds of results. It's pretty incredible to surround yourself by that many guys that all have that drive. It's very motivating. When you leave, you feel like top of the world, because even if you didn't win, like you just feel good for just doing it and getting up on stage. But anyways, the guys always said the same thing. Yeah, man, I messed up. I changed things right at the end, and then obviously they're still shredded. You guys look at it and be like, Jesus, what are you talking about? You guys are shredded as hell. But when you're competing, obviously you're trying to get as shredded as you can. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that we were talking about guys doing, was just switching up their stuff at the end. So I hope this all helps. Just keep in mind, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep doing the same things. Do what you've been doing. Keep your intensity up. Keep doing the program. Don't lose sight of where you want to go. Stay consistent. And just remember, obviously, you guys know that I have a cheat day. I have 1 day a week where I just go balls to the wall and just eat and drink and do whatever the hell I want. And then it's back to being strict with my eating and all that good stuff. But it is worth it. Just remember that if you guys are trying to get results, it's 3 months. Keep those reins tight just for 3 months, and then as soon as you get to your goal or whatever it is that you want to get to, you can loosen those reins later on. So just keep going, keep doing what you've been doing, and just keep that intensity up. And the last thing I said was just, if you're doing your abs, just make sure that you're engaging them, like hardcore squeezing your abs, and you're using weights. I would recommend using weights. A lot of people might argue with that fact, but it works, clearly. And that's what I'm doing again, and clearly it's working again. So good stuff, you guys. If you guys have any more questions or other things that you want me to talk about, of course, comment below these videos and let me know what's up. I'll talk about it next time. And yeah, next week is gonna end my first round of Body Beast. So I'm pretty freaking excited about that because I got awesome results. I'm gonna be not well over, I don't think, but over a 40-pound loss in just 3 months. And that's pretty incredible. I've never lost weight that fast. Last time I think I had an awesome transformation, like I said, it was like 31 pounds, which is still amazing. I'll take it, but I've never been, I guess, this aggressive with my results ever. So I can only imagine what is gonna happen my next round. Obviously, I'm gonna get right where I wanna be, guaranteed. I'm thinking maybe by the end of, I don't know, probably end of May, I'll probably be right where I wanna be, if that. So that's exciting. You guys will see that, which is cool. So stay tuned, follow along with these videos. Be sure to hit the subscribe button because if you guys are struggling, I really do think that it is helpful to follow along with people that are trying to get to where you wanna go. So hit the subscribe button. If you guys have other people that are struggling, turn them on to these videos because I do plan to share with you guys my results pretty much every week and share anything I can to help you guys do the same. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. And until the next time, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.